Hello there. Today on Abiotic Factor, I got a few character creation tips and generally information I wish I knew before I got started on this game. So let's get started on starting a new game. And one of the first things you might want to do is go to this modify sandbox settings, because some of these settings are going to matter a lot, and most of them are not. But the first one we're going to come to over here is going to be the enemy respawn rate. They respawn way too fast. I'm talking like in 12 hours in game and they're gone. And 12 hours doesn't take very long. So yeah, they're coming. You go to one area, for example, you loot it, you come back, you drop your loot off, you run right back again, and they all respawn. It's just way too fast. It's just incredibly unrealistic how bad that is. And I wish you knew this earlier, because I would have changed this down to as low as possible. But right now, it's just 0.5, which is just not enough. This should be like a 0.1 just to feel normal in my eyes on how fast these guys respawn. It is just day after day, they just keep coming and coming and coming. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, definitely put that down as low as possible, and hopefully they fix this so they can actually go lower. The rest you might want to leave as normal for yourself to make it a little bit of, natural gameplay. You might want to take the stacking size and double that up there, because it goes up pretty high. But just to save yourself some trips running back and forth with all these items, you might want to do that, you might not. Another thing you might want to consider doing is get rid of this 10%. If you die or you respawn, you have to take a 10% hit on your equipment. It's just kind of annoying at the end of the day. It doesn't really affect you very much, because it's just 10%, but you might want to put that down to 0 if you want. The other thing right there is the respawn penalties. You drop all your gear, which really sucks. There's no fast travel or anything like that, and you might as well try and abuse something like that if you can. So I would put it on to keep all items, because nothing's worse than running around to you spend an hour running off to some really far out location. You don't remember how to get back. There's all these twists and turns and backtracking and all the stuff you got to do. Then all of a sudden you die from some stupid thing, like 5 guys machine gun you down or something like that, or a sniper takes you out, something like that, and you drop all your items and you got to run back and get them all again, and everybody's respawned. Even with the lower respawn rate, it's still going to happen. So I would put it down to keep all your items, just to make it a little bit easier. And that's about it. You can go through all this stuff right there and change it as you see fit, of course, to make the game experience a little bit better for yourself. But that's what I would recommend. So let's get started on the more important part, is the character creation, because not all of these skills are actually equal, and they might not mean very much to you at the start, and they might have a really big impact, and some of them just don't have much of an impact at all. This character, for example, here for this class right here, this lab assistant, +3 is pretty good. You start off with 0, but the earlier skills in this game, they are a lot easier to learn than the later skills, and this +3 doesn't actually help that learning curve on there, which would make these classes actually more impactful, but it doesn't do that, right? So you get +3, it's just going to be just as hard as the other person to get up to level 4 in sprinting as it is you, and that just doesn't help. That's not much of a bonus. It just gives you a head start on the easy parts, and that doesn't really matter. It's these points down here that kind of matter for the perks that you can pick. You can pick positives and negatives to balance that out there, and not all perks are created equally. So you can go through all this character stuff right here. This one here just doesn't have nothing. It doesn't have anything for learning skills or anything like that. Unlike the next one over here, which you learn more from first aid, and then this one here for researching, you get more. Nothing in this one right here. So this one doesn't give you anything for learning on that one right there. Just less points altogether for eight things. But some of these things like construction EXP, who cares? You can build stuff. You can take it apart. You get EXP pretty easily. Growing stuff, your farming experience, and then you got your cooking experience, and then you got crafting experience. They really don't have much of an impact, and these skills don't really matter that much either. And this guy here is just the worst. They really need to have like an experience roll or 2 on this one here to get a boost for experience, but nothing on there. It's just 5 points to start off with. They're pretty bad. This one here gives you 12 and no extra points, so you start off with nothing for bonuses for your skills, but you can learn them and you get a little bit more bonus points. But which one is going to be the best? Well, it doesn't really matter. You can pick what you want, but I think the learning is going to be the bonus right there. I think it's going to be worth it versus the intern and the starting stats of this guy, which is pretty nice, because the starting off with good sneak is going to be helppful, because there's some sneaking in this game that you have to do, and they force you into sneaking. So you're going to want to sneak. You don't want to take the negatives on that one there. So I'm going to go over here to this one here for first aid, because at first aid level 4, you can actually learn how to craft the medicine for the radiation, and radiation is going to be one of the bigger things in this game, and being able to craft your own versus finding it randomly in medicine chest all over the place, it might be a little of a pain. You might run out. Depends on how you play. So being able to craft it and learn it yourself is a nice thing to do, and you get more experience on the first aid part of it. It's better for multiplayer, because for the multiplayer aspect, but even for single player, just having it might be better. And out of all the other jobs, this is the only one that actually has the best benefit over there, because the other ones are like easier to do. Like they're all easier to craft. Getting your first aid experience up is going to be a little bit slower unless you like taking damage on purpose type of a thing. But yeah, that would be a good one to take. So let's go over top to the negative and positive perks on here, or traits or whatever they want to call them. There are some negatives that are good to take, and some of them you just don't want to touch taking. Like the first one right here, don't take that one. Fear, you're capped at level 5. That's bad. Feeble is okay to take. You just lose 25% hit points and break bones. You don't want to take this next one, for plus 6 points, because you get fatigue 75% faster. Very bad. Let's go a little bit faster. 40% less stamina. Bad. Don't take that one. You stand out. Well, that's going to be opposite. We have to have stealth in this one. This is very bad. I took this one on my first character before I knew this. Bad choice. Don't take this one as a negative for yourself. 60% hunger. That's way too much. That's really bad. 20% for thirst. That's okay. You can take that one. Slow healer. That's not bad. You're going to get rechargeable healing items later on that you can use for healing, and so that really won't matter. That's just your natural healing. It's a kind of a pain to deal with at the start, but that's okay. Slow learner. Yeah, we don't really want that. 20% slower on our skills. We want to get those maxed out faster, so that's pretty bad. And then you bleed twice as much for the moons. That's okay, because we have bandages are very easy to make, and they'll give you more experience too. And a weak bladder, well, that one's very low, 15%. So that one's pretty much okay to take. So what do we actually want to take out of these things? Well, some of these skills might seem really awesome, like lead belly, but since you can drink anything and you don't have to worry about cooking the water, which can be a pain because you get like 1/5 of the water out of the tainted water pot when you boil it out there. But yeah, water should not be that much of an issue for in this game, because if you build your base in a good recommended spot, you can kill one of those big bots every night for free. Basically, you just run them to a trap and you collect like 4 cans of pop or something like that to help you out with the drinks, and you didn't do anything. You just picked it up because your traps killed it. That type of thing. Most of this other stuff is pretty weak. Carry weight, who cares? Bladder, extra damage on your guys, doesn't matter. Most of these things, like extra first aid experience or extra gardener experience, it's not really worthwhile to take all this stuff right here. It's not really, this one here is not really giving you much more experience, just more first aid. That's good, but we want the experience instead and learn it ourselves at a lot faster rate. Thick skin, less bleeding. The fanny pack could be a game changer though. That is one of the ones that might have a really big impact, because you only have 8 slots. An extra 2 would really be helpful, and you only start with 8 inventory slots. So the extra 2 on the hotbar, it could be really fun to have later on, but it is negative 10 points, and that's going to be the second to build that you might want to go through by taking that one right there. The other ones we want to take there, well, let's go over to the one we're at, inconspicuous. This is going to be the best one to take. You definitely want to take this one right here, like every single time. There, it doesn't really matter about the +2 sneaking, but that helps. But they take twice as long for enemies to notice you, type of thing. So you can actually get your melee attacks off, and ranged attacks really suck in this game. So, well, they do quite a bit of damage, but your accuracy is really bad, and just trying to kill a whole bunch of guys with ranged, it doesn't work very well. It's just a lot more, it's a lot faster just to sneak up behind them and kill them in one shot if you can. So that would be a lot better to have that going on there versus anything else. And the hobbyist chef, cooking twice as fast, doesn't matter. Night owl is another good one to take, but we don't need it. 50% less fatigue, but you can always pack up a bed and bring it with you and sleep wherever you want. That way you can do that. So that's kind of really don't need it. But what you do need is having the skill right here, so you can gain 20% more experience on everything. So yeah, that's what we want. More experience, the faster. Now that'll give us a bonus to all those perk points at the start, all those little cooking points that we only start off with 1 and 3 over here, and 0 for everything else. We want that up as fast as possible. So that's why I would highly recommend that. Now, the next thing we want to do is go for this skill right here. The very first one up there, since I worked from the bottom up there, because lead belly might be a little bit of a catch-22 on getting that one right there for later on. Because I also didn't mention that cooking is going to be, cooking soups is going to be one of your major sources of food for renewable stuff. It's really easy to do. There's recipes, that just involve, a full pot of water and then just cooking stuff up there for food. And that's a lot of portions. Like, one pot will cook four portions, which ends up being 6 altogether. I mean, not 6. I'm talking about 8 altogether. Since you can sip your cup twice, basically. So yeah, and that gives you extra water versus food. So that's why you can actually even take the dry skin if you want to, because you'll get extra water from that actual natural food you get, and then you don't really need to worry about drinking the water because you need to eat, and that is the best way to eat, anyways. But this one right here, for example, right here, it gives you more experience, gaining, your sprinting and your strength and your throwing. I never did much in throwing. throwing, but it could be something you might want to go into for the weapons and stuff like that, for spears and things like that. That could be fun to try out there. They're probably pretty strong on there, but it gives you +3 to sprinting, which, you know, kind of helps out with the running around, but it's the faster rate of learning it. So you'll have even faster strength and sprinting, so you can run around a lot longer, and you know, you can carry more stuff, and more importantly, get the strength up to higher levels, so you can shake the vending machines and get more strength experience, and carry the big two-handed weapons to sneak attack guys from behind with to kill them. So there we go. We have -4 points. So what are we going to take for our negatives? Well, my top 2 choices would be this one right here. This one right here, this is a bleeding one right here. So you're twice as likely to bleed from a wound, and you could get the double bleed on there, the severely ones. I mean, you just got to use like 2 bandages instead of 1. You can stack up like, you know, like 15 bandages in a stack, and they're very easy to make. I have stacks and stacks of cloth just sitting there not doing anything. So that one is a good negative take. And then of course 1 point there, we'll take that weak bladder. We spend like 15% more time, you know, going poop. So yeah, and there's lots of tools everywhere, and you can craft your own. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's worth 1 point. It's worth it to take these ones right here. So this is what I would take for my starting skills. If I was going to start again, this is the build I would take to get started on there. Now, the optional build with the fanny pack would be a different build altogether, because that's another negative, negative 10 points on our skills there, and we're going to have to go through there and deal with that. But yeah, just take a little screenshot of that. Memorize those skills right there for yourself, and yeah, just highly recommend it, because they have a really big impact. You know, getting that extra experience on the stuff and the stealth. The very big impacts on the game, and I think this would be the best build overall. That's just my opinion though, but hopefully I gave you all some information on that. So let's go over there and try out the fanny pack build. So we're gonna go there and take the fanny pack. We're not gonna be able to take some of the other skills, like maybe the faster running and sprinting. We're gonna have to take that off there, maybe. So then we have to take off like maybe the weak bladder a little bit, because we're gonna go with the dry skin and then the slow healer type thing, because those ones are okay to take on our thing. So we're gonna get, you know, 20%. It's not too bad on the drinking part right there, and like I said, we can kill those robots, the security bots at night, and get drinks off of them, and we can use traps to do that. The slow healing, well, you know, there's going to be items to heal yourself with that you can craft, and since you're taking the healing guy, you'll be able to make them a lot faster and get a little bit more effective on there. Same with the bleeding part right there. So yeah, don't get hit by stuff. If you're sneaking up on guys, you're not going to get hit as much, so those negatives won't be as much of have much of an impact on there, and we still get our smartness and our, you know, our sneakiness on there, and we get the extra 2 slots on there. So this is the other optional build you can do with the other negatives, but this is for like more experienced players. I would think to have the more extra slots in the hotbar, because you're going to have to deal with the extra drinking and the slower healing at the start of the game, which might be a little bit of a challenge for some people when you're first getting started, versus the first build. So there you have it. That's what I recommend for getting started, and I have other videos on this game, so you can just check that out there too when you have time. If you need any other help in this game, I'll just start doing some more at the for this. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.